Hey everybody, this is me, Mr. Ryder, with a Taekwondo tips and tricks video for kayato05 and anybody else playing Taekwondo. So we're going to get right into it. We have the performance customization points, of course. I set this up just for Taekwondo specifically. This is more of a defensive build. My first one, always defense. Reflexes have to be maxed because attacks always seem to be just that much faster. I think that the Marines have the worst defense, but they're very tanky, so it kind of balances out whenever you're getting attacked. But you want to slow those attacks down just as much for you in Taekwondo, because I think you're second or third when it comes to attacks being just so fast coming across the screen. You want to protect your joints with the joint strength, because your ankles and pelvis joints are your paramount to your survival and attacking. Of course, now your foot and attack speed and power are again peaking at 5. If you want to be that much more devastating on the field. Now, when it comes to a different setup and you didn't want to max out, I would still be at 4 at minimum. I would not go anything below, unless you're, really good, and you can go lower than that. But I like to win, or I used to when I played. So power, speed, something like this here for your hands, mostly because again your hands are going to be trash. Your hands are not going to be the key thing to win, but do not count them out. We'll go over that later. So and we're working. Now, the only fight deck I have as far as Taekwondo is based off of lower spine. Brother of mine, he showed me way back when he played, and like 7 years ago. He basically is the influence of this deck. He busted my lower spine a few too many times, and I took note of that. So with this, we're gonna start with the counter cards first. We're gonna go with Chi Steel, because you only start with 20 Chi at the beginning of the match, and you get 0.7 adrenaline per turn. So 3 attacks, you go to the next tier of adrenaline. So 1, 2, 3, boom, you're at tier 2 of adrenaline. So you don't have to attack but so many times. Now, I would again focus on just not stalling the match too much, because if you stall, you don't get penalized for stalling unless you're just not playing for 2 days and then boom. But yeah, you want to steal as much chi as possible to get you going, because y'all see my rate. My ratio is roughly 15-15. With this, it's all kicks and some knees. Again, you want to be careful with your ankles and pelvis, because if one side goes down, you still have the other side to work with as far as left and right side of your body. But you could only put back 2, I want to say it's 2 or 3 cards at a time. So, just be mindful. Of course, you want to shut down your opponent with ankle attacks as soon as possible. Again, this is based off of lower spine attacks. Occasionally, I like to shut down my opponent from gaining any type of advantage on me, but save that if you're low on chi. Of course, these are knee. You got your knee, palm, and your another fist. So if your ankles go down, you're not up the creek without a paddle. Of course, there's the 1 dim mark. Now, there is a bug with certain cards, like this, for instance. It doesn't tell you which spinal part that you're affecting. It's supposed to tell you, but this is specifically for the lower spine. That is the only dim mock card I have in the entire deck, mostly because dim mock is a hand attack, and hand attacks again are what? Trash. You said it. All right, so we want to make sure our attacks are blindingly fast and we get to our heaviest hitting cards a little bit early with the adrenaline cards here. Now, we don't want to clog too much with the adrenaline cards. Again, you can put back a certain amount of cards. It was like 2, maybe 3, but I want to say it's 2. And again, you want to get to your higher cost cards and punish your opponent pretty severely with these short block lines, block fogs, speed, and I only have 1 power card in here. Again, you're hitting hard already. You do want to protect yourself because you are vulnerable to chi attacks, be it dim mock or otherwise. Of course, you don't want to get countered every time, so no counters, chi shakes to really force your opponent to guess what you're going to hit. And I'll always preach that you have at least 1 cleansed dim mock in your hand and or deck at all times. You never know what you're gonna be playing because there's Chi Masters, Ninja, Wing Chun, and people messing with me while I'm recording. But yeah, so we got the Demon Knee. The curvature of the defense line makes it a very good powerhouse. We're going to scroll back up to the teeth. The reason I put teeth and the heart in this because I've always found that every time I got attacked with these just so happen to be just they're low tier cards, and it really boggled my mind of this is a level 1 card and I can't get a straight line. No, okay. So those are to really throw your opponent off and just to give yourself something to attack with. Now, the cooldown of the cards is kind of substantial. So if you only do 3 attacks a turn, you'll be okay. 1 attack a turn is not the end of the world. Again, you get 0.7 chi per turn. Again, the shoulder blade here, again, one of those attacks that's just kind of like wow. Now, the Red Devil roundhouse kick, one of my top 10 favorite cards in the game. It's probably number 2. The first one is going to be the next card. As y'all know, you got the horrific Panther kick. It wins every time. With a block, short block line, speed, power, you're more than likely to knock your opponent's shoulder out of socket within the first attack or 2. And there's no exaggeration, because the Taekwondo, in my opinion, is the hardest hitting discipline in the game. It is like taking a paladin with a holy greatsword and sending him into a field of demons, and he walks out unscathed. But yeah, these two, mostly because of the curvature of everything, absolutely. Now you got your go ahead and shut down your opponent's ankles, absolutely. This one is it's like a backup one here. This one, this is like a second version of horrific. Not as good as this one, but it still does the job, because you definitely don't want your opponent to, every other discipline depends on their hands for the most part, but this groin kick, the heart, the teeth, are all just small distractions, because I only have but so many cards that go down to the lower spine. But then you got something like the Hidden Demon. Really enjoy this card. This is again one of my other top 10 favorite cards here, just because of how hard it is to get to land a counter to it because of the defense. The Red Devil is very similar. The curvature, like with this one, you're more than likely to knock, to dislocate their wrist. This Erie Cyclone is very fast, kind of, somewhat easy to get, to block and counter, but you got this persistent Wolf Kick. Again, it's another fast card, courageous, and horrific Panther Roundhouse. That pretty much knocks out this portion of the video. If you didn't want to do lower spine and wanted to put in some hands, we would do jugular. I had a jugular Taekwondo deck some time ago, and I mean years ago at this point. But if you wanted to do that, I highly recommend jugular, mostly because, can't add it. That's when I. So the chops are, again, these are maxed out cards, but for Taekwondo, it is god awful. But again, these chops are very hard to block, but these insane kicks will have your opponent reeling in pain because of how hard you're going to be hitting and how awkward these lines are. Would not put any dim marks in unless it's for block lines for countering. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video, and anything else that you would like to see as far as this game, please let me know. And thank you, kayato05, for the request.